Yeah.
I don't care how good you are in anything. You don't have discipline. You ain't nobody.
Right.
You're nothing without discipline. Because you give up under the slightest struggle without discipline.
100%.
I mean, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it.
Doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it. That is a great quote.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that, you could be successful in anything.
What do you think most people get wrong about motivation?
They think it's a permanent fix. They think it's something that is a constant. They think that maybe once I get it, I'm going to hold on to it. And that's the thing about that I was telling you, that I always talk about, is nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And a lot of times you have to learn to perform without motivation.
Fuck your motivation. Fuck your motivation. You need discipline. Because motivation's not there every day. I'm missing motivation most days.
Wow,
Some
really?
days, yeah, sometimes I got motivation. Sometimes I'm like, fuck yeah, today I felt good. I can't wait to get to the gym. But a lot of days, like, gotta get to the gym. And then once I get going, then I feel great.
Yeah.
And I feel great when it's over. But it's that beginning part that's hard because your body wants to stay comfortable.
Be the guy who embraces the ugly, the miserable. Be the guy who embraces hard work, the grind. Don't be afraid of being hurt. Don't be afraid of sacrificing some blood.
Trivial things weren't going to pull my attention. It had to be things weren't going to pull my attention. It had to be things that I had a purpose. I wanted to be one of the best basketball players to ever play. And anything else that was outside of that lane, I didn't have time for.
At what age did that goal become crystal clear?
I made that deal with myself at 13 years old.
At 13 years old?
13 years old. That's the
You were
deal I
crystal
made.
clear about it.
Crystal clear.
I'm telling you it's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you it is worth it.
Yeah.
And you know what? You actually know it's worth it. That's why you're asking this question. You know it's worth it. You know it's worth it to have discipline, but you think there's an easier way.
Yeah.
You think that it's something that people have. You think that when Jocko's alarm clock goes off, it's like, oh, just like my father taught me. I rise and I shine. You know, like, no. It's like the pillow feels soft and comfortable.
Yeah.
And the alarm clock is banging on my head and I don't like it. But you know what? I know it's worth it to get up and get after it. I know it's worth it, and you know it's worth it.
You have to learn to perform without purpose. You have to learn to perform a lot of different things, and that's what people think. They think I need to have this motivation to work out, to study, to be better. So if they don't have it, they just don't fucking do it. And that's where you fail. You have to learn to train your mind well beyond motivation. If you have motivation, that's great. That's some kindling to the fire. All it takes is a little bit of fucking spark, you can burn the whole forest up. But motivation, you have to learn to exist without it. You have to be your best self when you're least motivated.
I've never met a person who was not successful that didn't have a great amount of self-discipline within their life. Self-discipline and being able to perform and being able to keep your life on schedule and being able to keep commitments and promises and meet deadlines is essential to success. None of us can afford to have a life that is controlled by someone else or a life that is basically controlled by our emotions.
If you lack talent, you can't sit back and say, I'll start in half an hour. I can't do that. I gotta start now. And after I get back from starting, I gotta start again. And then when I get done with that run or that study session, if it wasn't good enough, I gotta go back again. Because repetition is what taught me everything. So you can honestly outwork anything.
Don't listen to anyone. Everybody's full of shit. Nobody knows you or what you're capable of doing. And here's the reality. The hardest thing in life is figuring out who you are and what you want to do for the rest of your life. It's a big decision. I'm very blessed and lucky. I always knew who I was and exactly what I wanted to do. And once you figure that out, you wake up every day and you work toward it. That's what you do. It's impossible for you to fail if you know who you are, what you want to do, and you wake up every day and work toward it.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know, I mean, you got to get sick and tired. Now, you guys you just need to manufacture sick and tired. You don't need to hit the bottom. This whole thing about I got to hit bottom, No, you don't. Most of you guys hit the bottom a long time ago and you're just getting drugged down. The bottom can keep going down, by the way. If you just look at the ocean, like it can keep going down as deep as you want, you know, like unless you just want to hope to die, because it can go deep and then deeper and then worse and then worser. There's a lot of levels of bad. So, you know, what I would tell you to do is trick yourself. What I do today is I trick myself to being motivated. I trick myself into being disgusted with myself.
I mean, if you really want it bad enough and you're patient, anyone can do it. I believe that. But you gotta have the drive, you gotta have the hunger, and you gotta have the never give up mentality, because surely you're gonna get to a point you're gonna have a dead end and you're gonna have to make a U-turn and find a different route.
When you continue to overcome, and I had so many obstacles to overcome, so it's actually a benefit to me, but the benefit is not like a benefit like that. You have to have the courage and the patience to overcome and overcome. Before you know it, man, you have a whole medicine cabinet, but there's no medicine in the motherfucker. There's no pre-workout. I don't take none of that shit. All I gotta do is flip my brain, put my finger in there and say, okay, that's a good one. That's all I gotta do, man. I got the Rolodex of just like, go fuck yourself, Goggins, and oh, but you won. Let's do that one today. There's nothing I need. And this is the thing that people don't get about David Goggins.
To me, success is having the freedom to choose what you want to do when you wake up and being able to give back, which I think I've achieved. So, you know, it's not how much money you have in the bank or how much is your net worth, it's being able to have the freedom.
Remove temptations if you are going to have self-discipline. I'm trying to say, if you are trying to lose weight, if you are trying to get better, if you are trying to do things in a good way, you have to remove the temptations. Me, I had a problem with pornography years ago. And now it's one of those things that I had to eliminate temptations. I had to eliminate things that I felt would trigger me and get me back going on the wrong path. And it's really, really subtle. One of the things is by examining the way you think and how you act in a given situation.
You don't get discipline from your parents, from your grandparents, from your older brothers and sisters. You don't get discipline from an external source. You have to get it from you. That's what self-discipline is. You get it from yourself. You get it from you. So there's people from every possible background, from no parents to crazy parents to, you know, drug addicted parents to super squared away parents, and everywhere in between on that spectrum that are completely disciplined people.
So you become very, very powerful when you overcome yourself.
When I was 18, 20, 21 years old, I wanted to play basketball. I was consumed with this quest of trying to be the best, you know, and we weren't there yet. There's so many things I had to figure out, like am I training properly? Am I working on the right things on the court? There's so many things to do. I didn't have time to go and, you know, hang out over here.
I stand in the mirror with a pure heart. I know I am the best version of me that could possibly ever exist. I know that God is proud of me. There's nothing that God hates more than sloth and laziness. If God were to create a man and that man were to sit around and do fuck all, God will frown upon you. It's why you're never lucky. If you're listening to this and you think I'm never lucky, I'll tell you why, because God dislikes you because you're fucking lazy. Start to work, start to show God the beauty of his own creations. You'd be amazed how lucky you'll become. Wow. God is unhappy with these people. And inside their hearts, they're unhappy. We talk about depression, anxiety, all those things you mentioned earlier on this podcast. That comes from self-loathing. You loathe your own weakness. You loathe your own laziness. This is what all of these things are. I don't feel depression. How can I feel depression when I'm the most powerful version of me that I could ever fucking be?
Sonia, self-discipline is essential in your life and in my life if we're going to get things done. So I have a challenge for every one of you this weekend. The challenge is simple. As you go through your weekend, and sometimes it's kind of hopefully an easier time of your week, ask yourself, am I practicing self-discipline in my life?
I was forced to go only internal. External had to go away. The external world had to go away. And living so deep inside myself, It was me in this brain and figuring out how this thing works. And it's so many people are doing exactly that. The supplements, the this, the that. And I agree, it helps. But once you figure out your brain, you become unstoppable.